Joe likes Scorsese, and Raanan is Jewy. It's Joe and Raanan talk movies.
Tap it twice.
And I think we're good, right?
Action.
It's good. Yeah, that's good, right? That's
Action.
How it is? Yeah, just give me a look. I just that's.
Wait a minute,
it, right?
giving a look?
I mean, that's good, right? That's what it is.
Come on, baby, give me just one look.
That's good, right?
Yes, it's counting up. It's recording.
What is that? The Doors?
It's Springsteen.
Oh,
I mean, I probably sound like Jim Morrison.
You sang it like Jim Morrison.
I don't like these itchy blankets.
Yeah. Well,
why would you want an itchy blanket?
I mean, it's not a TV studio. It's your basement. Take it off. It's your.
You take it off.
The Doors suck, right?
I don't know. I mean, like I used to when I was in 7th, 8th grade, which is the door. Should we kill that fan? Is it loud? Is it picking up or no?
It'll be on your guys' audio.
Yeah, I guess we'll turn.
Well, no, hold on. Look at the thing. Look at the wave. No, it's not picking up.
Yeah, it is.
No, stop talking. There's nothing.
All right. I mean,
it's not picking up.
Yeah, I mean it'll pick up, but that's fine. I'm sure it will. But yeah,
I don't think so. I mean, it's not. We can look at the monitor and see that it's not picking up. We have headphones. You have headphones? I don't have headphones. I don't believe in headphones.
I forgot to bring.
But
headphones.
when you look at the visual, it doesn't. It causes no movement whatsoever.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah, sure.
So the Doors, I was into the Doors in 7th and 8th grade, which is the time that you should be. There's some fun, there's some goodness,
like
but
SNL.
I don't listen to the Doors now. I have not put the Doors on purposefully in about 25 years.
First of all, the fact that he doesn't play an instrument and he doesn't really sing, so he's just like a poet.
Of course he sings.
Well, he kind of sings, but he's just got a guy writing like he's
People are strange when he's singing.
Yeah,
what is he doing? If he's not singing, what is he doing? Farting?
I guess the fact, like, is there anyone else who's like in that era who's so famous for but also not like doing the music? I mean, I guess you have like, what do you call it, Mick Jagger?
What? You're comparing Jim Morrison and Mick Jagger?
No, but Mick Jagger
is of course.
Jim Morrison is the most famous person to like not really play an instrument, is what I'm saying, right?
Okay, but then you got Mick Jagger. What was that?
I forget for a second that Mick Jagger played guitar. I take that.
He played guitar much later, but it doesn't matter. He sang and wrote, and they created the music, and he's the rock star. Mick Jagger is the rock star above all rock stars.
Well, I'm
he's
just
number
trying
one.
to think of someone who from that era who sang and wrote the lyrics, but didn't play any instrument.
What about Art Garfunkel?
Art Garfunkel.
Ever see that SNL bit?
Well,
it's like Simon and Garfunkel, and they're doing an interview, and Paul Simon's like, "Well, I write the songs, and then I sing and I play guitar." And then they're like, "Well, what do you do?" And he's like, "I do the claps." Did you hear the claps? But to be honest, Art Garfunkel is a wonderful singer himself.
But as he does less, and he has also obviously been, he's not as
I'm
popular.
Paul Simon, you're Art Garfunkel. That's all right.
I like this Simon Garfunkel album where he's literally, it looks like Art Garfunkel's photobombing his own album. He's like behind Paul Simon, and
I think that's
it looks like he wasn't allowed in the photograph, and he just snuck in at the last second. But Jim Morrison, I mean, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Jim Morrison is like considered one of the greats, but it's like he doesn't fucking even play an instrument. Yeah, and his lyrics stupid.
Well, but his instrument is lead vocals.
Yeah.
Like Freddie Mercury's not playing it. I mean, he can play piano, but
that's the thing.
Axl Rose is the lead singer. Jim Morrison's the lead singer. Mick Jagger's the lead singer. That's his job.
Yes,
that's his
but
instrument.
the difference is that Jim Morrison's the one guy known in the Doors. I guess that's the difference. All those other guys have the other guy.
John Densmore, Ray Manzarek,
I don't
Bobby
know
Krieger.
Who are those people?
Those are the players in the band. I think it's Robbie Krieger.
But you see what I'm saying? Like Robert Plant just did vocals and lyrics, but we all know as well the other fucking guy, whatever his name
Jimmy
is.
Page, John Paul Jones, John Bonham.
Yeah.
Welcome to Rock Talk with old Funkle Joe.
This will all be
I
cut
see
out.
what you mean. But he wrote the lyrics and he sang. That's a position in rock and roll. I mean, that's fucking Eddie Vedder and Lane Staley and fucking the other guy.
Eddie Vedder, he doesn't write the music?
He does.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, Jim Morrison, usually when someone's like at Jim Morrison's level, there's another guy equally famous in the band.
I guess so.
He's the one example where it's like, usually for someone to be on Jim Morrison's level, that guy would also write the music. That's what I'm saying.
I guess so. I know the other members of the band.
But
Do you know the
that.
guitarist for Queen's name?
No, Homo 2, Homo 3, I don't know.
Homo Deuce is a book. Brian May. But you don't know Brian May. He's a fucking virtuoso. But you know Freddie Mercury.
But he plays the music. He plays music.
Freddie Mercury?
Yeah.
He plays some piano, but oftentimes
Jim
he's just
Morrison
running around
doesn't even know what an
singing.
instrument looks like. He's just standing there dancing around.
Look, I think Jim Morrison is not great either, but he did write and sing, and he did a whole thing. He had the leather pants, the cock, he did the poetry, he showed his dick, and he had something. He was something.
He was something.
But he's not that great. What about the movie? Let's talk movies. It's movies. You like The Doors, the
I haven't
movie?
seen it. I've never seen it.
You'd know some of this stuff if you saw the film. But you hate
How
Oliver
is this a
Stone. By the
movie
way,
podcast?
Oliver Stone went and saw 4th of July.
Did he really?
We believe. We cannot confirm.
You think he feels a little contention because it's like, born on the 4th of July. You kind of,
Oh, maybe.
you know, it's like when Edward Manet, the Impressionist painter, found out there was a guy named Monet, and he was livid.
I don't understand all this comparison. 4th of July, born on the 4th of July. It's totally different.
I mean, it's pretty similar.
Born on is totally different.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
born to run is not the same as run.
But Oliver Stone's probably like, these fuckers, they're going to have, people are going to rent Born on the 4th of July or accidentally going to rent your movie, which I assume was your plan, right? That was your plan,
we
right?
want to get that huge Born on the 4th of July market. All the folks
It's a
backtracking to
genius
1989.
idea. People they're like, all right, we're going to watch this Vietnam movie. They see you and they're like, really? He's going to be in Vietnam right now? And then they start watching your movie.
Well, we're working on a new movie called Whoa, Mamma Mia. I went with Mamma Mia.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Oliver Stone, we think, went and saw the movie.
That's exciting.
But
That's
you
great.
hate Oliver Stone.
I hate
Talk
Oliver
about
Stone.
it.
Well, let's talk. How do you think you saw the movie? It's a conspiracy theory.
Chris
You may have seen
Walsh,
it?
Chris Walsh, who's in the movie, went and saw it for the 11th time. He loves it. And he went to the
11th
Lemley and he
time.
saw Oliver Stone walking out.
Really?
Yes, and we believe 50-50 that Oliver Stone went and saw the film.
Oh, walking out of the whole building.
After the building. He was outside in the building.
So what were the other options? You had 4th of July.
Well, he might have saw,
Thor.
Minions 7 or whatever the fuck.
I'd say he probably saw it.
Nate McIntosh had a line. He said, Minions, what are these? Just pills with jeans? That's like one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life.
That's very funny.
Pills with jeans.
But you think maybe this whole trick you did with tricking people to think they're seeing Oliver Stone's movie, do you think maybe that tricked him? He was walking by the theater, saw 4th of July, go, oh, they're playing my movie. I guess they couldn't fit the first part of
The
it.
guy in the poster looks like Tom Cruise.
and he came in and watched it because he thought it was my movie. But then he's so old, he's like, I don't remember this movie at all. It's very different.
I mean, hardy har har. Oliver Stone went and saw the film. You don't care for Stone. JFK
That's exciting.
fucking rules. It fucking rules because you've never been fucked in the ass. Kevin Bacon's best performance.
Such a weird quote to make. Like, there's a couple of really famous quotes, like the back
the
and to
most-
the left, and you're like, fuck.
That's great. That's because you never watched the film. You don't know the film.
It's such an obscure quote.
Kevin Bacon at his best. You a good-looking man, Mr. Garrison.
But yeah, that's awesome. Oliver Stone. Who else has seen it? Yeah, because we're here today
Common.
talking about Born on 4th
Common.
of July. I mean, 4th of July.
The rapper Common.
Common. That's amazing.
Common, like you and your fucking opinions. Very
Did
common.
he saw? What do you think?
I didn't talk to him. I'm scared of him. But he saw it. Al Franken saw it.
Al
Loved
Franken.
it.
Al Franken loved it. That's huge.
Love.
Loved
A
it.
former U.S. citizen, a disgraced U.S. senator, saw it and loved it.
That's awesome. He saw. Did you talk to him?
No, I didn't talk to him.
He
I'm
always
not
sounds
going
like
to see it.
Heath Ledger from The Joker. I love the movie. That's how he sounds, kind of, right?
No, that's not bad.
Yeah. That's
I
awesome.
hated
So,
my
what other
father.
sexual predators have seen the movie?
Well, you saw it,
I saw it. That's right. I loved
Yeah.
it. We're here to talk about the movie, which I loved,
but we can't talk about it too in depth because most people haven't seen it.
but this will push them to see it.
Yes, so we got to talk about it without.
We'll talk behind the scenes. No spoilers.
Yes, but we'll
Okay.
mix in some other things like your hatred of Oliver Stone.
Okay, but let's talk about. I want to talk a little. You just look.
But you haven't seen it. You haven't actually seen it.
I've
You
seen
saw
it.
an early cut.
Yeah,
It's
not-
changed.
It's changed a lot.
I'm not even in it. It's not. I'm totally out.
Well, we got to talk about it because this is a movie podcast, and
We
you
need to
made
push
a
it.
movie.
Yes, we need to
this
push
is
it.
big. This is like when Roger
Huge.
Ebert wrote that movie, Welcome to the Dolls, or something, or
No, that's the Todd Solondz.
or whatever. He wrote some movie,
Queen of the Doll
Valley of the
House.
Dolls,
Valley of
yeah.
the Dolls.
This is big, and I'm
Journey into the Valley of the Dolls.
and you have a movie. It got out. It got reviewed.
it's reviewed. The
It's
reviews are in, baby.
They're in.
Wall Street Journal, the only one you need to read, really.
Wall Street Journal said one of the best
and
movies of the year.
Terabang, my friend Deborah wrote a nice one. The Wall Street Journal said one of the best films of the year,
That's
even though
huge.
it came out in June.
That's huge, though. One of the best movies of the year.
Yes, and we went through, by the way, we were in the backyard, me, Sarah, and Raanan, and we went through all the movies that came out this year. And I got to agree, this is the best film of the year, other than X, maybe.
I did my top 10 list. You're like 2 or 3.
2 and 3, I think.
Yeah.
What's number 1?
Well, it's hard to say because I know your movie. You know what I mean? I was in the inside of it. I loved it, but I didn't know anyone in X, so it was easier to like.
So X is number 1.
Well, it's.
I like
fine.
X better than my movie. There's tits. We don't have any tits.
You don't have yeah. There's tits in X,
Yeah, good point.
but it's X and that are the 2 great movies I saw this year. But yeah, I think you're gonna make some top 10 lists.
I think Academy Award, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. You heard it here first. Oliver Stone saw it coming. They're in the Academy.
So I mean, what does it feel like? What does it feel like for it to come out? And you've done these screenings. I guess you've talked about this a lot.
Well, Raanan, the thing about filmmaking, I haven't been able to really pontificate on the film because I got the other one yapping.
you got what's his name? Fucking. So you can talk here. This is a safe space.
I can talk freely. I mean,
Yeah.
all the ideas that were good were mine, and all the bad ideas were Louis'. And yeah, that's why it's getting bad reviews. The Wall Street Journal, he just quoted nothing but my stuff.
So it got all right. Well, let's talk about it. So the reviews, there was some nasty reviews, but they seemed like pretty openly gay and vindictive towards Louis.
Yes.
So it was like it kind of revealed it would have been.
Well, I never would have made the movie if I had known what Louis has been accused of. I didn't.
You
This is my first hearing.
You found out just.
I had never heard of any of this.
You go up to what?
I'm like, what
I
is
just
this?
read the New York Times review. What did you do to other women?
No, so the critics, I mean, first of all, it's all been great. It's all been a blast. And the movie has been extremely well received by audience.
By the people.
By the people, which is who we made it for.
Yeah.
And yes, most of these criticisms, half of the article is criticizing Louis as a person.
Which is why I think, because I was worried when I saw that New York Times, I was like, I wonder if Joe's going to be upset.
I'm
I talked to
certainly
you-
not affected by any
You
of it.
really weren't affected. And I think it has to do with the fact that they so openly, like, revealed themselves to be, like, mainly just wanting to shit on Louis, which is biased, and revealed itself as inauthentic criticism, and therefore it did affect you. If they trashed the movie but didn't mention Louis at all, it would probably be very upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, even that's not upset. I mean, not everyone's going to love the movie. I think
Yeah.
it's a good movie, and some of the criticisms are valid. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting point. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe we didn't do that as well as we could have, I guess. But some of them are just outright insane.
Yes.
Like one of them talks about how it's so. I'm looking at it like it's on my phone, but it's one of them quotes being like, "It's so clear that this character couldn't come from a family like this." Which is just so insane.
Yeah, it's
Because it's like, first of all, that's like a cliche tweet and thing about at the holidays. I got to go see my uncles, my
right.
crazy Trump uncles.
Right.
It's like, of course. And they talk about how sophisticated Jeff, the character I play in the movie, is. But I'm like, I don't find him all that sophisticated. He plays jazz.
yeah.
He's not like an overly sophisticated guy. And when he confronts his family, he says, fuck you and fuck me and fuck all of you guys, not to give away too much of the movie.
I mean, it's just the most insane point I've ever heard. The idea that someone in a family doesn't relate to the other people in their family. The idea that the critic is like, that's not believable. Like,
It's just the most common
it's
thing.
not believable that someone wouldn't be exactly like every other member of their family and wouldn't feel out of place at all. That feeling has never existed.
And the other thing is, I don't. They keep referencing that the family is racist, the racism of this family, but I don't see the family as racist at all. There's a black woman. They make a joke about her being black, but they actually welcome her into the family, and they're quite sweet to her.
That was the interesting thing about the movie, is that the movie, in a way, it felt like it was made kind of before a lot of these politically correct concerns, where back in the day you just capture people how they are.
Sure.
But now you actually have to like force in certain sensitivities that might not be realistic, or ignore, or just like don't have those parts. This movie clearly has people saying the F word,
Yes.
making racial jokes, and that nowadays.
Gay slur F word.
Now, yeah,
And the F word.
Oh, yeah, both. But now that days, that is so shocking, I think, because movies go out of their way to not have any mention of those
Right.
things. That I think for a critic, they're like, "Whoa, this is like racism," and not just racism to them, but unjudged racism, which is a wrong way of thinking about it, because really you're just capturing how a family talks, how a blue collar family would talk. But for them, they're like, well, they're not judging this. So clearly they're letting this problematic behavior exist, which is actually how art should be. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like it's wrong for him to say that, and he should fall down a hill now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think they just don't. They're just not used to it. It's almost like it was a movie that was made in the 70s, kind of.
Right, and there is homophobia. That
Yes.
there's no. I mean, the character of Uncle Kevin is certainly homophobic. He's like,
Yes.
you go to New York, you get gay. He's saying the F word, but the racism part, I would argue against. Also, they seem upset about it, but I'm like, this is where it's funny with these critics that are, for lack of a better word, these woke critics. But I'm like, but isn't that what you think? That
What?
straight white men are like, what's up with these gays?
Right.
This is the.
You think shouldn't they be validated or vindicated?
You should go. Finally, someone accurately depicts straight white men. That's
Right,
what's
right.
interesting about. That's where it's a. That's where I'm stupid. I can't use words. It doesn't. I seem smart, but I'm not. I'm really dumb. This is what you should want it to be. This is the narrative you go with. Is that these straight white blue collar people are homophobic and go, what about these gays, these black? We're depicting that, and you're like, hey, this is wrong.
No, because
You should be like, no, they got it right.
They don't want that, because they don't want to just see that. If they see that, it needs to be judged now. That's the rule.
Right.
That can't just exist. You can't, like, the days of having mobsters and Scorsese movies being racist, but that's not the point of the movie.
Right.
Those days are long gone. So the idea that this family can be homophobic, but the movie isn't about homophobia as its main topic is too much for them. They can't deal with that. And the racism thing is interesting because you're right. They don't really say anything racist. I get that when Nick DiPaolo says the word black, it sounds racist, but
well, he says there was these black guys. I'm sorry, Naomi.
Yeah.
That's him trying.
Yes.
He's trying to be progressive.
It also seems like the critics just assume they're racist.
Right.
Which is kind of
racist
or judgmental, at least.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting thing about the movie. When I watch a movie, you do have people saying the F word freely, and it's very funny and dark and real, but it's not judging it, which is like very much feels like a 70s or 80s or 90s, but not in this climate. And that is, I think, probably shocking to some critics.
And also there is judgment. I mean, before we're like, Kevin is a tyrant. He sucks. And then later I'm like, fuck you. You suck. I'm embarrassed by you.
But you're not
there
like,
is
you're
some
not
repercussions.
You're not like the way you talk about gay people. Like you're not like that. And that's what the critics would want.
Right.
They're like, the way you have been saying the F word freely during this whole weekend has created such a problematic atmosphere that I can't breathe. You don't have that.
Right.
So that I think the critics have trouble dealing with, which is just to me a real thing, you know?
Yeah. But by the way, the New York Sun, which I'd never heard of, the guy that is the critic on there, he's an artist himself, and he gave it very high praise, particularly to me.
Well,
my acting performance. So thank you to that fella. And like I said, the Wall Street Journal said it was one of the best movies of the year. And then I think it was the New York Times. They like kind of trashed us and trashed Louis unjustly, in my opinion. But then they complimented this cast. And then at the end, I think it was the Times. It was one of those big long ones. Maybe it was Hollywood Reporter. At the end, it was like C-.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not terrible.
I would love to get C- in school.
Yeah, I mean, to put that much effort into something and be like, that's a C-.
You passed.
That's a passing grade.
You didn't fail. That's great.
So the Rotten Tomatoes score is low, but once again, it's like 12 movies and 3 of them are positive reviews. So it's like, hey, 27% or whatever.
I also think what this showed really is that, like, and I felt this for a while. We've talked about this podcast. Cancel culture hasn't like destroyed I don't want to be like cancel culture has destroyed everything. It hasn't. A lot of people still exist within it, but I do think it has destroyed the legitimacy of movie criticism, because you're creating a world now where movie critics feel if they're completely honest, they could get fired or not defended by their newspaper. And it creates this, it's ruined the trust where you don't really know if they're saying how they feel. Right. It almost feels like when you read movie critics, it's like a hostage and they're like telling you everything's okay, but like deep down they're winking. They're like, yes, this movie made by all transgender people was great.
Right.
There is no scenes that have any flaws. And it's like, maybe like you just can't trust them. And with this, it totally showed that. The fact that to look at this movie and be like, well, we're going to analyze it with the lens of what Louis did. How is that anything to do with the movie?
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, it's not.
No, and
It's
then
not valid criticism.
and then a couple of them had these long things about how the movie's actually about Louis and his whatever. And you're like, well, I was there when we wrote it. It's not.
But it's also
It's not
like
about
you're
that.
like, this is a personal movie for me.
Yeah.
This is a movie for me about me and family and all this stuff. My personal thing is not like about Louis. I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's what's so insane. That's the bullshit of it is how, and I know that's just the way Hollywood works, but the bullshit of it is ignoring your contribution to it in a way, because it's like, this is all about Louis' comeback, all about Louis, and it's like, you co-wrote it.
Right.
You're in it.
Here's a weird thing that I thought was fascinating. Is so I've been reading all this stuff, and we did the premiere at the Beacon, which was unbelievable. I wish you could have been there.
Sorry.
It was a special night. Well, I feel bad that for your own experience that you didn't get to be there.
I
I
feel
wasn't
bad.
like,
I
oh
mean,
my
I
God,
feel-
I wish Raanan were here for me.
I mean, I feel bad. I could have gone. You know, I was seeing Kevin Spacey's new movie.
But
I was out of town. Yeah,
it was a tremendous experience. I mean, 1,990
That's incredible.
people, and there was huge laughs and cheers. It was thrilling, and it was awesome. But at some point, Bobby Kelly joked or was earnest, and he said it's hard for Louis to disappear in a role because he's so famous.
Yeah.
And I said, well, he has disappeared before.
Yeah.
And it got a big laugh. And then Louis sort of sarcastically was like, that's right, but I'm back, baby. And two different news sources have misquoted it as we're back. Then Louis said, we're back, which sounds more sinister.
Yeah,
like we, those of us who have been through this.
Harvey, Kev, Wood.
Exactly.
We're all back, baby.
But isn't it weird that two separate news sources misquoted him from I to we? I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theory, but that seems a little suspicious.
yeah, like they're just like taking it from other.
They're just like, well, we're going with that. That's the story we're going with.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it is. I'm expecting to see an article at some point where they're like, now that this movie's doing well, Kevin Spacey is eyeing his return. Like, they're
Right.
going to talk about this the way they talk about China in relation to Putin.
Right.
Like, if this movie does well, it will be Kevin Spacey's chance to make a comeback, you know?
Well, the movie is doing very well. We're very proud of it. And I don't know when this comes out. When is this going to come out? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Today?
Yeah. It depends on, you know.
Well, tonight, July 12th, is the big day. We're in 70 theaters
That's
across
insane.
America.
70 fucking theaters.
70 theaters,
You
and
did it.
we're adding screens at all these places because they keep selling out. And Lemley and Santa Monica added a week. We did a week there. They added another week, and then New York, our run ended at one place, and they got picked up at Cinema Village. And I'm going to do some Q&As this weekend.
I mean,
Louis
it's
out of
amazing.
town,
How does it feel
unfortunately.
to like, you're in the movies, you're in the world?
It's wild. I mean, we went yesterday and did Q&A, Louis and I, and the poster's there, and you get the popcorn. It says this theater. You know, we're on the marquee, and people are going to see it. It's very exciting.
Now, have you gotten the blurbs from some of the articles and put it on the poster at the movie theaters? Has that happened yet?
No, we haven't done that. I guess we should do that.
You should get the one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, and
That's a great point.
I mean, I feel like that's
We're not great at marketing. We just keep doing selfie videos.
I mean, if you get one of the best movies of the year, Wall Street Journal, you know,
That's a good point.
and I think that would be So I mean,
I'm going to send that email as soon as we're done. I'm texting that out to
Yeah.
my group. We're so stupid. We suck.
you need the blurbs.
I know. We're bad at the blurbs.
And then what you really got to get, you see these movies in theaters where they have the poster and then they have the article frame right next to it so you can read the article.
Yes,
Get that.
The Wall Street Journal. Well, the Wall Street Journal gave us a
It'd be
full.
fun if you used the New York Times one for that.
Well, Louis did send that out, the email. He said, here's a good review, and he sent the Wall Street Journal. He said, here's a bad review of the New York Times. So he's
yeah.
like, you can read both of these and
Yeah.
make up your thoughts.
And I mean, what it's so cool to me is like, you know, like I was looking up movies today. I was thinking about what movie to see. I didn't think about seeing yours. I was just looking up what movies, and I typed it in and I scrolled through the list, and so I see your movie. I'm like, oh yeah, your movie's in fucking theaters, and it was just under the New York movie showtimes.
It's very exciting. The Fandango thing's very exciting. Seeing the
Fandango.
poster is very exciting. And yeah, it's playing right now as we're talking. There's a group of people in the movie theater watching our movie.
I mean, it's crazy. You made it. You made it into the movie world.
We made a movie, and it's doing well. We outperformed several movies.
I mean, that's what's incredible. I mean, like you told me you outperformed some bad Ray Fiennes movie that just came out.
Fuck you, Rafe.
Fuck you, Rafe, and a couple other things which I saw posters for that have the blurbs on them at IFC. You know, whatever the fucking woke theaters took those fucking movies, and
Yeah.
now your fucking movie is doing well. I mean, it's incredible to me. I mean, it's like
Yeah, Regal and AMC were thrilled. They were like, thank you. This is great.
Really?
Yeah, they were very happy because they're not selling out movies. At one point, we were at a theater. There was 20. We had one. This was last week, July 6th. We were all over 48 theaters, I think. At one theater, we had one screening, and Thor had 20. Literally 20 to 1, Thor to 4th of July.
Jesus Christ.
But in one theater, we kept selling out, so they kept adding. We were playing at 3 screens at once because they were all sold out.
20 screens in one theater?
20 showings that day.
Thor.
So if you woke up at 10 a.m. and said, I'm going to go to this movie theater today, and then you looked at the listings, there was 20 times for Thor. 20 different times throughout the day that you could go see that, and one time for us.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean,
it's a real David and Goliath.
It is.
Situation.
Maybe you'll bring. Maybe you will spark a theater comeback. People go back to the theaters.
Well, I hope so. And you forget because we went to we did the Beacon Thursday, Schubert in Boston, and then the Vic on Saturday, and then yesterday we did a Q&A at Cinema Village. I took for granted how amazing it was growing up watching a theater in a packed theater. Because now when I go to the movies, I see some independent foreign.
2 people are in there.
It's
one guy's jacking off. Yes. With a child in it. Yeah,
exactly. And you forget what it was like to go see a packed theater. You also have to worry about someone mowing you down with an AK-47, but. It's amazing, and the big room laughs. Everyone's laughing together and crying.
That's a great point. When was the last time movie theaters like the opposite of airline? Like every airplane is packed to the gills. I can't remember the last time I was in a movie theater where there was like more than 3 other people in it.
Well, you know what I was remembering? Like I remember we talked about it before, going to see Rushmore and sitting in the front row because it was sold out. Is that not unbelievable to think about? Wes Anderson's second film was starring an unknown guy. Bill Murray was in it, but. Packed. Everybody. That's all anybody was doing was at the theater, and it's the way to go see it. So go fucking try to get tickets. Cinema Village all week. Lemley and Santa Monica. Canada were playing all over the country for a full run.
So Canada's like a full run.
Yeah, Winnipeg, Calgary, all the big cities except Montreal for whatever reason.
Do you think they have no issue in Canada with this? Like no one's saying no, basically, or
well, no. We got it, and this. It's not an issue, I don't think, of like Louis' controversy.
It's just like
it's an issue of like this is a low budget movie.
Right.
We'd rather have Top Gun and Thor. It's like the old Woody Allen thing that he talked about years ago with his movies. He can't get backing anymore because a movie that costs $20 million and makes 40 and nets $20 million, that's a loss. They're not interested.
Yeah.
They want to make a movie that costs $150 million and makes $2 billion.
Right.
And that's why these movies are all fucked, because making $30 million is bullshit to the entire Hollywood system. They don't want $30 million. They want $7 billion.
It's kind of interesting. The same way politically we've all become so binary and divided, movies have been divided too. A movie is either $400 billion or is made by like 4 people begging to get into the theaters. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There is none of the days of American Beauty are over. It's like either
thank God.
Yeah, well,
movie stinks.
But still, the idea of like a mid-budget movie. You know, American Beauty might suck, but it's still an adult film with a decent-sized budget.
Right.
Or an attempt at an adult. It doesn't have dragons in it.
It doesn't suck. They tried their best. It's very difficult to make a movie. It's not easy. And then, who am I to criticize their movie? They had their own.
Now you're free because you did the movie. You got the bad reviews. They suck. Now we can talk shit. You're free. We don't have to worry.
Yeah, but I mean, I got the Academy. The vote's coming up here soon. I gotta.
Annette Bening might be one of the judges.
But you never know. I mean, it's a secret ballot voting. The critics don't vote. The New York Times doesn't vote for the Academy Awards. The Academy does. So,
man, if you got an Oscar, like this would definitely.
I'm getting an Oscar. What are you talking
you're right.
about?
I'm sorry I even had a question.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I shut
doing?
down. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank
when you
you.
get the Oscar, I mean, what is your speech going to be like?
I don't know. I don't even know. I think God. Should I thank God?
Can I give you a joke to say?
Please. Somebody's thought about winning an Oscar.
I want to thank my parents. I know you're up there looking down. Sorry, I couldn't get you better seats.
No, that's
Come on,
been
that's
done.
great. That's been done. That's not been done.
That's been done. I'm not, and they're not going anyways. They're at home. A better joke would be like, I want to start my parent. They'll see this tomorrow. They're recording it. They can't stay up past 8 or whatever.
That might be good. Well, what about this? You go up with Louis,
They killed
right?
themselves. They killed themselves when the movie came out.
Louis goes, I want to thank my parents, even though he'd never say that. And then
no, we're not winning Best Writer.
What are you winning?
Best Actor.
Oh, right.
Best Screenplay. We blew it. I mean, we got discriminating flaws. But Best Actor, that's cake cakewalk.
But you got to do jokes, right? You would do jokes, right?
No, I'd be really serious. Just dead serious. I'd talk about climate change and
That'd be so funny.
and Biden. I was like, you got to donate money to Biden.
You just make that switch so quickly. You get the Oscar and you just go up there and go like, the production of milk in this country is so cruel. We need to stop, or whatever fucking Joaquin Phoenix said.
And then, anyways, no, I don't know. Maybe we'll win. I would love to win.
You should go up there and like get political. But
It's an honor just to be nominated. First of all.
you should go up there and get political about something that's already been done. Like the Vietnam War needs to end.
Vietnam is bad. It was so bad.
The Vietnam War. You should bring up the Vietnam War when you got on stage.
I'm glad I won, but this should be an African American. I'm a bad person.
Should be a black person winning.
Yeah, fuck the police. I hate them. The Village is better this way with people getting stabbed openly.
Yeah, well, but it's diverse. At least you're getting stabbed by a diverse person.
Yeah. Oh boy.
But so it's
That was bad. That was bad.
Nah, you go to all Hollywood now. You're worried.
Oh, I'm worried, baby. But no, we're gonna win some Academy Awards. It's fine. It's whatever.
But yeah, the
It's
movie.
just a trophy.
It's just.
It's not.
It's
not why we did it.
No.
It's not why you make a film.
Why did you make the film?
Just boredom, I wish I had sunglasses. Just bored.
I mean, the movie's great. I loved it. I loved it when I saw it. I saw it in Louis, whatever
His basement.
And I'm joking. And it was.
He's gonna hate this. He's gonna be very upset by all of this. Very upset by all of this.
I saw the movie. It's great. I mean, I loved it. It's like, it's a movie about people. It's a very relatable story about returning back to your family and confronting them and not really feeling fully connected to your family. And just, to me, ultimately the movie's about, and there's something I think about a lot, is that as you get older, especially like at your age, my age, 30s, 40s, you're in this place of growth. And you look to your parents and go, I want to get to a better stage with them because I'm growing.
Yes.
But then you realize, they're done growing. They stopped growing 20 years ago. And just because you're wanting to grow doesn't change the fact that they've stopped growing. And so part of your growth is accepting that you love them even though they might not be able to grow anymore. And that's like the conflict. It's easier to love someone to resolve something when they've also grown. It's much harder to be like, I forgive you and I feel close to you even though I know you are incapable of changing.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. And that's what the movie ultimately is about to me, is acceptance and being of service. I mean, I don't want to give away too much because a lot of people haven't seen the movie, most of them. But yeah, it's about accepting the things you cannot change and changing the things you can. And then there's an AA theme throughout it, which is a big theme in AA. And acceptance is the answer to all my problems. And this idea that to go and try to confront your parents is really trying to change them the way you want them to be.
Which in your head seems like that's this is the challenge. But that's actually a much easier world to live in where like if they could change... But really deep down, you just want them to accept that you're right.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's because we're in our 30s, 40s. We're in that period of like, let's come to a new level of growth in our life. And they're just not in that period anymore. They've crystallized.
No. And then it does feel like each generation gets a little bit better. And so I think it's about generations and it's about timing. And there's a theme of it being too late is it too late to have a child? Is it too late to improve your relationships? Is it too late for a lot of things? So there's some heavy things, but it's actually quite funny also.
It's very funny. I love the part. I think the part when you go home is one of the funniest scenes I've seen in a movie in a very long time. I love that. That whole sequence is great. When you go home and it's following you and, DePaulo is like, saying slurs, and then when he's trying to force you to drink even though you're saying you're sober is like hilarious. He just has the bottle right to your mouth. It's so funny. And then when you tell, I don't want to ruin it, but when you tell your parents about when they start guessing what your problem is,
right,
and the C word is thrown around.
Those
in one
are
of the
huge
funniest
laughs.
ways.
Well, it's funny nobody heard that line because the laughs were so big at the previous line.
To me, really? That
literally nobody that saw it at the premieres heard that line.
Yeah, because that to me is one of the funniest lines in the movie.
It's fun. It's a fun feeling when people are missing lines because their laughs were so big. So go see it again.
But that whole sequence is just amazing, and I love that sequence. And then I think one of the other great sequences is when you whatever, tell off your family. I don't have to. I mean, it's not an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
But when you're on the phone afterwards, you're like, I did it, I got it. You're like so excited.
I like that you're whispering it as though if you whisper, they won't be able to hear what happened.
But the idea that catharsis is really for you, it's not for them,
right?
And it's a little selfish, and you're like kind of off on it, And so it's, I don't know. There's a lot of to me, what's so interesting is that it's kind of unresolvable conflicts, and that's what I want to see in a movie. So many movies, and we don't even realize it.
We got this compliment yesterday at the Q&A.
So many movies. Yeah, I was there. It was me in a fake mustache. So many movies. You watch it and you're like, yeah, I know what's going to happen and this conflict's going to resolve. You watch Coda, whatever the fuck, and you're like, yeah. She's going to sing at the end. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's an easy solution, But this is not an easy solution. This is real life. You know what I mean? I don't think the movie's perfect. I've told you I've had some issues with it. But I think it's great and has, like, powerful things in it that I really connect to.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm not going to give you my Oscar. Well, someone's going to get it.
I'm just trying to show you that I'm from an honest place. No,
I appreciate all of that, and yeah, it's a good movie. It's very hard to talk about your own thing, so I'm glad you are. But it's very good, I think. And DePaulo is amazing in it. And there's so much great improvisation. Like DePaulo just being himself or being Uncle Kevin in that way is so funny. And Chris Walsh is like amazing.
And Kelly, we've got to talk about Robert Kelly.
Bobby Kelly like stole the show at the Beacon Theater. He was amazing. He's so good in the movie. He's so sweet and so funny. Louis amazing as the therapist, gets these huge laughs, which is another thing. People like criticized the therapist. I'm like, I think he's a pretty good therapist, actually.
He's good. They criticized what? Like his...
I think they criticized the casting. There's another thing they were like, and Louis put himself in as the therapist, and I was like, no, he was like, maybe I shouldn't be the therapist. And I was like, no, you should.
Well, yeah, it's also like...
It's not like he was like, fuck you, I'm the therapist. It's like you said, I'm like, I was involved.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, yeah, no, you should be the therapist.
Louis did everything. He forced this actor, Joe List, to be in the movie.
And I'm like, no, he's great, and the direction is great, and Chris Raymond, the cinematographer, is awesome, but...
Right, you really are giving your Oscar speech right now.
I want to thank, and Leah Cohen did so much to bring it to life, and Brady Nassville.
What about me? I'm special thanks.
You got a special thanks.
I want to thank you for getting my special thanks in.
You got that.
I'm gotta have a special thanks to you because I was like the guy who, should we invite him to the wedding or should we not?
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
So it better be a good gift you bring.
Where am I am I right next to Meryl Streep in the special thanks?
I haven't seen it because we're always running backstairs.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't know, but it's in there.
All right.
The name's spelled wrong. It's spelled Ron Washington.
Spelled Ron Bennington.
Yeah. But same joke, but whatever.
But
I went with the third base coach for the Texas Rangers, but
I did a reference we both would get.
But anyways,
Bobby Kelly's so great.
He's amazing in it. It's really touching, and it's one of the best performances. I think, like, honestly, we're joking about the Oscars, but I feel like if this was pre Louis' cancellation shit, I really think that if he was still the darling, Robert Kelly would have a chance at getting a nomination for Academy
can see
Award.
that, yes.
I'm not kidding. I think he's really fantastic. It's the kind of role that always gets... Now, he wouldn't win because it's Robert Kelly, but...
Robert Kelly in this movie, and the first scene with you and him in the AA meeting is so great, and your all's energy is so great. But Robert Kelly, when I watch him, I see a tradition of amazing, hilarious, sad, vulnerable, fat comedic actors that starts with, like, I see Jackie Gleason, Dom DeLuise, and Robert Kelly. You know what I mean? I see him in that tradition. He's vulnerable and funny, and this kind of, I mean, he's gonna beat me up when he finds out I call him fat, but he's like vulnerable and funny, and like, and it's like, it does seem like he should be a famous comedic actor. He's so incredible.
Yeah, I'm hoping that a lot of the people get to, myself included, get to do more acting stuff, because I think a lot of the performances are so authentic and beautiful.
Yeah.
And the music is great, and Robert Walsh, who plays my dad in the movie, is just tremendous. And Paula Plum, who plays my mother, Tara Pacheco is amazing. There's so many great performances, and it's a credit to Louis and the beautiful script that we wrote together.
Let me ask you this. Now, I know they're not like based on your parents, but when you're acting and you have people playing your parents, you start to feel on some level like they're parental in any way, or no?
Well, it's funny because the character that my dad in the movie, who's similar to my real dad, he's the most similar to any family member, really. I do think my dad's a better dad than this dad also. But Robert Walsh he did take on that quality because he's a very quiet guy, and he hung out the least of all the people that hung out during the filming. And I did find myself really wanting to impress him, both as an actor and as a guy. He would come over to the house a couple times, and we would talk.
Like,
and I had a similar nervousness.
You want to play catch outside?
He did feel like a parental kind of thing. And then I saw him at the premiere. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I was like, "Hey, I've been wanting to text you, but I didn't know how."
Interesting.
Very similar. And Paula Plum, who played my mother, she was so sweet, and like I was like killing for her. I was doing like old street jokes, and she just thought I was like hilarious, which was very sweet. So it was much different than my mother. Not that my mother thinks I'm funny, but it was very much like it was much different. It didn't feel like a parental relationship, but we did become.
So they were worse versions of your parents on screen and better versions off screen.
Precisely. Yeah. But no, everyone became really close, and it was great to see everybody. And the weekend of doing all the premieres felt like your wedding, where you don't get you'll never get married, but
I can imagine.
You don't get a chance to spend the time you want to. You're just seeing everybody.
Doing
and
the
it's
rounds,
very whirlwindy. But we've been having a great time, and Louie and I have been like pushing each other into the bushes, talking every day. Can you believe it? This is sold out. We added this show. So it's been a huge success.
You get that Rushmore feel. I always, whenever there's like a big event, that Rushmore feeling where at the end of Rushmore, everyone in his life is there. Did you get that a little at all? Like everyone in your life is at a theater, kind of.
Reuben, boy, I love that movie.
Yeah, but that whole
it's hard to make movies because you're like, that movie's not as good as Rushmore.
But you did it.
We made a movie, but it's not as good as Rushmore.
No, but it's very good.
But it's very good.
It's very good.
Yes, and that's his second movie.
It's better than 7 of his movies.
That's true. Yeah, it's
better than Darjeeling Limited.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
It's better than fucking whatever Moon.
All
Tit,
the non-Owen Wilson
Moon
ones.
Tit
Owen
Sunrise.
Wilson was the
yeah.
key.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's better than this is better than a lot of movies. This is better than a lot of movies we've talked about on the podcast.
I would say it's better than most movies.
Yeah, probably.
If you took into consideration all the movies that have ever been made,
and you throw in like the snuff porns and like the
yeah, you have to include child porn and everything.
If you throw the child
porn,
porn,
if you include everything that's ever been filmed, this is like top 3%.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we're throwing in like concentration camp footage and
home videos,
ISIS beheading videos.
Crimes,
yeah. This is top 2%.
Up there. Yes, 2% milk. I mean.
It is a very powerful movie and relatable, but actually relatable, not like fake relatable. A lot of movies are like fake relatable, but they're tropes. This is real relatable. I think that's what people are recognizing in the movie. I think that's what people are connecting to. Like, oh wow, this is a movie about shit I also deal with. Not like Coda. No one deals with this shit in Coda. No one's like, There's 2 deaf people in the world who've probably dealt with that. I mean, no, I'm not saying that. There's obviously a lot of deaf people, but it's a made up story. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a story you know where it's going.
Right.
You know, you don't know where this is going, and it doesn't really go the way you think it will.
Yeah, and I think a lot of sober people really relate to it and connect to it too. And I think I've gotten a lot of messages saying you guys really got sobriety recovery right, which is very nice. Yeah, I've dabbled, so that was nice, and I think it feels like very real people.
Yes,
it's very reality based, which is the kind of movie I like. We talked about this yesterday in the Q&A, which you and I talk about all the time. It's like ultimately, I just don't like Minority Report. Yeah. I like Election.
Yeah, and that's how I ultimately feel too. They get mad because
we always name the same 3 movies.
I mean, that's how I ultimately feel too. I was watching a trailer. I was like, maybe it'll be. I was watching a trailer for Avatar just now, and I'm like,
the new Avatar.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's a fucking screensaver. Give me real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like real.
These blue cartoons jumping around. It's a fucking computer game, and it's like, at the end of the day, real life is the thing that you really, means a lot. I mean, look, Minority Report is still a good movie, but yes, real movies that you can relate to that have to do with real life, it's important. It can change your view on things,
Yeah, go see it. Go fucking see the movie.
See the movie.
See it in the theaters, and then it'll stream down the road for the foreign folks.
Yeah, once it streams, then it's like streaming is exactly the way you should see this movie. But as of now, movie theaters exactly,
movie theater, but we're gonna make way more money when it's streaming.
You gotta see it in the movie theater. There's just no other way to see a intimate
you can't watch
movie
it
set mostly at a house.
Don't watch it at home with your family. But it is hard, and we were talking about this before. You tried to watch a movie I recommended. You watched 8 minutes and hated it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the great thing about the movie theater. You gotta watch the movie.
You're there. I mean, you can leave. I leave all the time.
I guess for me, it's like at least I have that like Jewishness. Like I don't want to waste the money. But I don't have that big of a nose.
No. You got big other stuff.
Classic Jewish stereotype of big tits for men.
You got a hook stomach.
Yeah, I mean, movie theater is great. Every time I've seen a movie in the theater, I finish it, which is nice. And
You've never left a movie?
I've left a movie 3 times.
Name them.
Anger Management,
Sounds right.
Bruce Almighty,
Okay.
and this Robert Redford movie called Truth, which is about Dan Rather.
Oh yeah, we talked about this last week.
Those are the 3 movies I walked out on. We've talked about.
I've left every Robert Redford movie.
Yeah, but you walked out on something too.
I walked out on The Monuments Men.
Oh right,
That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And then I get shit for this one. I walked out of Iron Man, the first Iron Man, which is supposed to be like the best comic book, but I just got it. I was on the road. You're killing time, and I'm like, I get it.
Well,
He's
you
Iron
walked
Man.
out like in the middle or at the end?
About an hour left. I don't know. No, halfway through. I mean, Lex is just.
So you're
livid.
like, so for you, it's
I'm
like
I get it. He's gonna become Iron Man. He's
Okay.
He's trying to be Iron Man. He's falling. It hurts.
So for you felt satisfied once he just became Iron Man.
Yeah,
You're like,
I get it. He's Iron Man.
Yeah.
I'm like he's got
So
to get
you
the
would
suit to work, and
you
he
would like
saves
all
everybody.
superhero movies if they just ended when they became the person. Like you're like, oh,
Well, no, I wasn't liking it. That's why I left. It wasn't like I was loving it, and I was like, okay, I gotta
that's
go.
all I
now.
need to say. He's become Iron Man.
No,
Yeah.
I'm watching it, and he's trying to be the thing, and there's the jokes.
But you don't.
And he's the thing.
So you totally missed out. About the part where there's the bad guy who wants to destroy the world.
Yeah, I don't
because he
care.
thinks that's better for everything. And then
I get it. Yeah,
and then the hero stops
and then he
him.
doesn't destroy the world,
And
right?
then that happens for the next 12 movies.
Yes.
How could you go to sleep at night missing that
I
part?
skipped all that.
You missed the whole monster, the whole bad guy who thinks if I kill 400 billion people, it'll be good for the environment, and then he has to explain that to every person in the movie.
Yes.
Before he kills them.
Yeah, Iron Man stinks. Robert Downey Jr. I have so much respect for the guy. Congrats on the sobriety. He really turned it around, and he's an amazing actor. I love him in
Amazing
Zodiac.
actor.
Zodiac, I saw 14 times.
I know, yeah. I'm not saying you don't love movies, yeah. But I get it, yeah.
Other movies too. I can't remember what else. But,
Well, now you don't just have to hate Marvel.
Jersey Boys. Jersey Boys. I saw
Oh, really?
that.
Is it that bad?
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh, I walked out of that Alexander Payne movie.
The small stuff.
Smallville. Small
kids.
Matt Smallheads or whatever the fuck it's called. I walked out of that. I walked out of 4th of July last week. Oh, shit. But
I'm sure some people have.
walkouts?
I'm sure people like have hated it.
You think some people-
I have had people that message or tweet and like go drive in 2 hours to see 4th of July, and then I just don't hear from them again. And I'm like, this all right, okay.
Like people you know.
People like no, like on fans like
Yeah,
post on Instagram like going to see 4th of July, and then I don't hear from them after. So you're just kind of like, all right. I mean, there has to be people that hate the movie.
Well, I'm trying to think who would hate it because,
Critics.
critics.
People that have really studied film dislike it, but
I don't think so. Well, critics. But I think the people who would actually, because it is like a very much an independent movie about feelings and emotions. I guess the people who'd probably hate it are like diehard Louis fans but don't like the emotional aspect of any Louis. But if they're diehard Louis fans, they've seen Louis, which is emotional. And
Louis has a lot of emotion.
Yeah, that's a good
Louis
point.
is beautiful.
That's a good point.
I don't think it's that dissimilar from Louis.
No, you're right. It's not. Yeah,
real and,
I'm trying to think if there's some like diehard Louis fans, but just like only the vulgar shit, and they don't like his emotional side.
I've seen comments that are like, "Oh my God, this is a drop off for Louis," whatever. But I think people just hate and they have nostalgia for the past. I think this is on par with Louis. I think there's a lot of great stuff on Louis. There's a lot of
No, you're right. Louis is very
Louis is very heartfelt. I've touched many times in that movie and that show.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, so I don't know who wouldn't like it. Yeah,
Probably
every.
But the critics have all cited like his old stuff was better, which is so transparent to me. I mean, there was one critic that was like, "This is not nearly as good as Horace and Pete or Louis," and it's probably because he's making it with Joe List.
I saw that.
Which I took a little personal.
I saw that and I was like, "Oh, I boy, hope he doesn't get it."
I want to be like, well,
They either don't mention you or blame you for everything.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what are you going to do? I mean, I could point out some flaws with those other projects, but what can you do?
But but that's part of it. You made a movie, and you have. I mean, this is the part of everyone deals with. And, to me, I'm so proud of you because you made a movie, and part of making a movie
You're the first person that said that.
What, proud?
Yeah.
Part of making a movie is like you have to accept it's not going to be exactly the vision in your head, and it's a world of compromises, and it's reality, and you make that and you put it out for everyone to see, and that takes so much balls.
Yeah, I guess so. To me, it's like
And critics shitting on it is part that everyone deals with.
Yeah. For whatever reason, that's not bothering me because I'm like, well, I like it. I think it's pretty good. And then, like I said, lots of people have really loved it. And then I've gotten like such touching messages of people being like, after watching that, I did this and whatever.
It's very
suicide notes.
It's an interesting level of stoicism with you, which I didn't know it could go either way.
Well, I've come a long way.
Well, sometimes you have not been complete. A couple times you've may have been on YouTube annoyed by a comment and engaged. So I was wondering how is he going to deal with the critics, but you've actually dealt with it quite stoically, which I'm very impressed by.
Oh, thanks. Well, the thing that bothers me about comments on YouTube is when someone says something that I'm like, no, that's not what I said.
Yeah, right.
Where the movie, if somebody is like, this movie stinks because of this, you're just like, oh, I don't agree with that.
Right. It's not a factual thing.
Like if somebody's like on comments like, you're not funny, I'm not like,
you don't
what?
Comment, you don't
I'm like this. Oh, I'm very funny. I'm killing.
Right.
It's when people are like, Joe said this, and I'm like, that's fucking not what I said, you fucking idiot.
It's usually when it's just something in defense of me, honestly, that you get upset.
Yeah, I don't want people liking you.
But I mean, it's amazing to make a movie. Look, I've written like 9-10 screenplays, and I'm
well, maybe I'll make some money. I'll make one of your movies.
Yeah, we'll do that next. Yeah, but yeah, so it's amazing. It takes a lot of balls to fucking make a movie and have it out there for everyone to see.
Yeah, it's I guess so.
Because you know what it is. Stand up takes courage, but at the same time, stand up, we are kind of in control for the most part. And we're in control of what we say and what we want to say. And with a movie, you're giving up control to so many people, Right. And that's such a hard, that is it. And you're doing emotional stuff. You've gone so much far outside the comfort zone of stand up.
But we got it pretty close to the vision, I think.
I guess, I'm saying, yeah. I'm saying, like, isn't it whenever you make a movie, there's like, just the reality of it is different. I mean, that's what I struggle with, I feel like.
Yeah, it's weird. It's never going to be exactly the way you envisioned it. But I think it's pretty good, and it's going well.
I'm not saying that
really
like
fun.
it took a lot of courage to fail in your vision. I'm not
right.
I'm just saying in general, a movie is like a relationship. Like when you write a screenplay, that's like an idealized view of a relationship, and the movie is like dating the person,
Yeah.
Watching them take a shit.
Yeah, I think so.
And that takes a lot of balls.
I got lost in the analogy somewhere, but we should write a movie. We started writing that one day.
Yeah, we'll write it. Let's write it. I'd love to.
We had one day. We were really working, and then you went away for 6 months.
You can be my Louis
to Europe.
You can be my Louis.
Yeah, I'll be your Louis.
Yeah, we'll write a movie, and let's do it, man. And
I don't really have any money, but.
You got some. Well, it should be.
I don't have to make a movie money. But then neither did he. We're trying to make it back.
We'll use Lex, and we got one camera.
Yeah, there's a camera.
But yeah. So anyway, go see the movie. It's great, and it was such a thrill. I'm so happy it's doing well. And
thanks. Yeah, it's fun.
Hey, you hate these Marvel movies, and now you're not just hating them. You're waging war.
We're battling. We're battling them.
The Marvel movie.
It's nice, and I really hope it does. People go, oh shit, this movie's sold out. We'll get some people in there.
And maybe some people couldn't see Thor. Some 13-year-olds couldn't see Thor, and then they snuck into your movie. Well, and now they're saying the F word everywhere. So you got those.
An interesting thing, and I think I might be crazy, but I actually think because Louis and I are comedians,
yes.
and some people are comedians, DePaulo, Bobby Kelly, and we have such followings. It actually is better to have that than actors because. Actors have followings, but I think the days of like, okay, Tom Hanks is a new movie, I have to see a Tom Hanks movie. People are more likely to go see whatever a comedian makes because they know them better, if that makes sense.
I think that does
like
make
Tom
sense.
Hanks is one of my favorite actors, but I'm not dying to see Elvis because I'm like, this doesn't look great to me. It's 3 hours. I don't love what he does. I know about Elvis. I don't need to see this Tom Hanks. But if Brian Regan made a movie. Even if it was about something I'm not interested, even if it was a comic book fly around, I'm like, I got to see what Brian Regan made.
Right,
Does that make
'cause
sense?
it does make sense. You're seeing these people on stage, and you're curious to know what they'd be like in a movie. Right?
Yes, like every fan of mine is like, let me check out Joe's movie. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess you're talking about kind of
like-
in a way your first movie and what that would be like, seeing them for the first time as an actor. You know,
I think so.
But the other issue too is that you all have like a following, which is more than not Tom Hanks, but a lot of the other people in movies, a lot of other actors in movies don't really have a big following.
Right.
So you actually get to have way more grassroots than a lot of movies. I'm friends with the guy in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the fucking the husband, Joel.
never
You
saw
know,
it.
you never see it, but you don't have that many followers. You know, it's like comedians have more followers. You know what I mean? Great
Yeah.
actor. You know,
And
he has
like,
some followers. But
Yeah, I'm just not. How many actors are there that you are like, I am seeing whatever this actor did? Filmmakers, there's a lot. I have to see this person's movie. Francis Ford Coppola made a movie. I got to see it.
there's literally no actor that I'm like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
but
there's
there's
not,
comedians. I think if you're a Louis fan, you're like, he made a movie. Let me go check it out.
Because you assume that they have some sense of control over it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I guess Louis is like also. Yeah, I guess you're assuming they're. Well, actors are stupid and they're just in bad shit. I guess that's
Yeah.
You can't trust their tastes. Yeah.
Maybe that's the point. But anyway, so a lot of people have gone and see it. Hopefully, you keep seeing it. It's been really fun, and
Well, we did it, man. We have a movie. Hopefully, I'll have a movie next, and this podcast will be, and he's obviously very supportive. And
once I win the Oscar, then I can really,
yeah. Well, I'm ready for you, man.
maybe I'll melt it down and make it into a ring and give it to you, and say whoever saves one podcast saves them all. Schindler's List.
But anyway, go see his movie. And you got any other plugs?
Yeah, I got well, the movie big time, the Cinema Village all week. I'm doing Q&A this weekend at Cinema Village, and Toronto July 29th. August is a big month. Nashville Zanies August 12th and 13th. Des Moines August 4th and 5th with Steve Big Dick Rogers.
Nice.
And then what's after Nashville? I'm in Cincinnati, Liberty Funny Bone, the weekend after August 19 and 20, I think that is.
That's great. Go check him out there. And you can see me at Key West Comedy Club this weekend. And then next weekend, I'm at, I think, Bricktown Comedy Club in Oklahoma City. And then the weekend after that, Sandman Comedy Club in Richmond, Virginia. And the weekend after that, I'm at Spokane Comedy Club in Spokane and Tacoma Comedy Club. I'm doing like a couple days there and then a couple days at the other one. So see me at those places. And my special, I think it's going to come out in September. So
Yes.
so that's
very
going out. Yeah,
nice.
so that'll be good. And well, this is a good episode.
Did Borat.
Oh, with that Borat?
Very nice.
Very nice.
Will not move to a
We got-
smaller room.
Very nice.
Saw that theater in a
I
packed
laughed.
theater.
Yeah, me too. The part when they're naked fighting.
Yeah,
That might be the last great comedy.
that was pretty great. No, the overnight.
Oh yeah, I tried to watch that.
That's insane. Every movie you say, I tried to watch it. You're so,
I
you're
didn't.
so
I didn't.
full of
I did
shit.
not like that. I think I saw it on an airplane and then the plane crashed or something. I didn't.
That movie's amazing.
But the outfit or whatever, that movie sucks.
It's fun. It's good. Check it out.
But yeah, and we'll be back next week, same time. Suddenly, I'm talking like we have like a slogan. Same time, same place. Good
Cut.
night.
That's
good
our
luck.
slogan. Cut.
Cut.
Joe likes Scorsese, and Raanan is Jewy. It's Joe and Raanan talk movie.